Welcome to the Brandi Jo Show. This is episode number 29.
Welcome to another inspiring edition of the Brandi Jo Show, your weekly dose of wealth and wisdom for a prosperous financial life. And here's your host, Brandi Jo Newman.
So, Amy, when we met, I didn't know that I needed you.
Wow, that's deep.
Isn't that good?
That's really good.
Because, remember the text, can I hire you?
Yes, and I told you no.
Yes. And we have moved on from that. And there was a happening. There was a storm.
There was a storm, one of many.
We're just talking about me. When I talked to you about the next phase of building out a theme, we talked about the tangible.
Correct.
And how I really wanted you to coach.
Okay.
And how I thought our partnership was damn near perfect. Let's talk about why anyone should listen to you, because I got it right off the bat. Because you were direct with me. That's the way that I love to be communicated with. Let's talk about your background and what your experience, and then how you're going to share those experiences with our Athene members.
So the first thing they need to know is I am a degreed therapist, right? So I'm sitting on a couch right now and brings back lots of memories, right?
You're welcome.
There you go. But I figured out pretty early in my counseling, I call it era. We'll use Taylor Swift era kind of concept, my counseling era, that I suck as a therapist because I'm too direct. The idea of therapy is to guide people on their own little journeys to figure themselves out. The therapist is not supposed to say, hey, stupid, you're doing the damn thing again, right? And I discovered that 70% of my clients were paying me to be a weekly friend.
That can be aggravating.
I didn't want to be Bob Newhart. For those of us of a certain age, we know the TV show. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch YouTube. But Bob basically had the same clients forever because they never got better. They were paying him to be their weekly friend. I got into counseling because I wanted people to have better lives. And what most people do is they have a failure or a mistake and they don't learn the lesson, don't apply the lesson, move on from the lesson. They keep regurgitating the same things over and over and over. And sometimes you need a little, I call it shock therapy, where someone just flat out looks you in the face and says, here's the deal.
Or over the phone.
Over the phone, whatever it takes, right? This is the deal.
Yeah.
This is the truth. Someone needs to tell you the truth.
I had that conversation with a client, a financial planning client, on Tuesday.
I got to tell you the truth.
You need to come up with other problems for me to still be interested in working with you.
Correct.
You can still have problems, they just need to be different.
Not these
They
problems.
need to entertain me at least.
That's right. Because we've already discussed these problems.
Yep.
We should be moving on from these problems. I think when I look at my own life, the times that I learned the most was when a mentor just flat out told me the truth, told me the hard thing I needed, that I was being blind to, or I wanted to pretend I couldn't see, right? Or the fact that someone else pulled the mask away and said, take a look. Take a look, right? And that's hard, but you need that person in your life. For most of us, we avoid having those people in our lives. We have yes people. We have people that pat us on the back and that are our cheerleaders and give us hugs when we fall down and have boo-boos and all the things. And sometimes you need the coach on the sideline that says, get the hell up, spit on it, dust it off, let's go. This is life. And you're from sports, I'm from sports. Those are people I remember. It's not making you tough, it's realizing you have to keep going. And we avoid those people. We avoid sometimes the truth tellers. So coaching for me is getting to be a truth teller. And I always tell people, you're going to get pissed at me.
Yeah.
Before you fire me, take 48 hours to think about what I said, because there's probably a nugget in there that you needed to hear. You may not agree with me on the other parts of it, but I want you to pull out the nugget you actually needed to hear.
Well, let's talk about the most recent coaching moment we have had.
Okay.
When living at my mother-in-law's for 3.5 months.
Yes.
And you noticed some things. And then what was the catalyst for that? What was the trigger for that conversation?
You were frustrated.
Had I just
You were venting again.
Were you tired of me having the same problem?
You were venting again.
Okay.
You were venting again. And I said, you have two choices. You either need to suck it up, this is how it's going to be, or you need to get off the pot and just go find a place and quit waiting for the perfect place to get a fucking place.
That was the thing.
And
Because I wanted the fancy place at 7600 Broadway in January.
And I said, in January, something will happen and that won't happen. And I said, then we're going to have this conversation again. And I said, in the meantime, you're going to be miserable. And I'm tired of hearing that you're miserable. So either shut up about it or go get a place. And you got a place.
And what was the window? Was it like 3 or 4 days?
Yeah, you texted me.
I think it was that day.
You texted me within 24 hours and said, we've got a place. We're moving in 7 days. I said, well, there you go. Right? And I think that's what coaching is about sometimes.
Yeah.
Is just, here's the mirror, here's the truth, and here's the honest truth about it. Either do something about it or shut up about it.
But when you mention sports, the only reason, well, not the only reason, the main motivator was to prove you wrong.
And that's what every coach wants. Every great coach that I have ever had playing sports would piss me off to where I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter what it was. I worked harder, got off my ass, got it done. And they never ever said, oh, kudos to you, little Amy, for doing it. It was on to the next thing, right?
Good job, next.
Good job, let's go. And that's life.
Yeah.
Right? And
well, it was our life.
It's our life. It's still our lives, I think, if we are realistic about, if you are a driven individual, a goal-driven individual, it's still our life.
Yeah. So let's talk about the curriculum coming to our members over the next 12 months, starting in January. One word is the first class.
One word is the first class.
And then you sent me the outline. And in the first or the second class now is
the 12-week year.
The number one, the big asterisk on that outline is, darling, you're just not moving fast enough.
Darling, you're just not moving fast enough. We are people with a lot of excuses.
I call it the getting ready to get ready.
We're getting ready to get ready constantly. If you tell yourself you have a year to do something, you won't just take a year. You'll take 1.5 years. Because at a year, you'll be pissed that you didn't get it done.
Is that Parkinson's law?
Yeah.
Okay.
You will expand it to fill the time allotted.
Yeah.
Just
also
like
with money, I've noticed.
With money, with decluttering your home, with difficult conversations with people, whatever timeline you give yourself to do that, you will take up every bit of that time or more. And the reality is, the reason we don't think we can hit big goals is we give them too long. You need to shorten the timeline. You need to move faster. And I think, especially for women, we already think we're hustling hard. We already think we're busy. We already think we have too much on our plates. The question is, what's on your plate that doesn't need to be there? What are you wasting time on? What are things that are not going to get you to your goal, if that's truly your goal? And if you actually focused and moved faster, you would be surprised at where you got.
Okay. So I've heard, and I've said this to one of my partners, I just don't want to step on any toes. And when you have a good partner, when they come back and they say, you don't worry about anybody else's toes but mine.
Mm-hmm.
You go and do what you are really good at and get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking with one of our new recruits yesterday, and that was one of the topics that we talked about. She says, Brandi Jo, I just don't want to step on anybody's toes and have them not like me. I said, who gives a shit if they like you or not?
Correct.
I'm the only one that should matter if there's liking to be done.
Do you really want someone to like you that doesn't like what you're gifted at? That doesn't like that you're successful?
Yeah.
I don't want people around me that like me because I'm not successful.
Yeah.
Or because I'm not doing what I need to do. Those are not people I want around me.
Yeah.
I want people who go get them, Amy.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're playing hard enough, you're going to step on somebody's toes. You just are.
Yeah. The people that are standing still,
Right.
waiting
Waiting,
and getting ready to get ready.
getting ready to get ready. If your feet are moving, you're probably kicking some shins, doing some stuff. They can get on the sideline. I mean, seriously.
Get out of the way.
Get out of the
Here
way.
we come.
It's kind of like the whole thing that women will say, I don't have a voice at the table. Well, have you talked?
Yeah.
Are you sitting there taking notes about what everybody else is talking about?
Yeah.
Is your head up? Are you prepared to interject in the meeting? Most women don't.
Yeah.
And then they go, I just don't have a voice.
Yeah.
Well, you sat there and chose not to say anything.
Well, and just like I got an email this morning, and it was notes from a meeting that I'm empowering this one associate of mine to take the lead on a client project. And I said, when you get into this meeting with these people, please tell them, don't ask, tell them, record this meeting so I can share it with Brandi Jo. And it was not recorded. So what does she have to do? She now has to take notes. So it takes her a day to basically organize her notes. And then I get the notes. The notes are great. And so the notes are for me to make the decision which...
But it was a waste of everybody's time.
Where are we pivoting to? Which direction are we going to go? When all they had to do was record it, upload it to an AI platform software, and then it would send me the notes. Because AI is beautiful. I love that thing, whatever it is. I don't care. Whatever it is, I love it. But that is, if you can shrink the amount of time to where you can make a decision. So let's talk about women not making a decision. And this goes back to the people still talking about the same problems years later.
Years later.
Why is it that they noted the decision and the hard thing that they have to do? I mean, we're talking about divorce.
Firing someone. That's still divorce. Divorce, firing someone, dissolving a partnership. Selling a business.
Having a surgery.
All this stuff.
All of those things. It's coming, whether we like it or not. What do you think holds people back from, what is something that someone that listens to this today and says, I'm going to do that thing that I really need to do? What is the one tool or one thing that they can bring out of this conversation to where they can just do that one thing?
You're not always playing on a team. You know, I think the thing about you and I is you played an individual sport and I played a team sport, right? And I think women by nature, how we are socialized, and I'm speaking specifically to women, is we're taught to be communal people. So we want consensus, we want everyone's buy-in, we want everybody's opinion. Sometimes you just have to fucking make the choice. Men typically don't have this issue. They just don't, because they don't care what other people think. They're not socialized to care what other people think. And that's why in marriage counseling, men would come in to see me and it would be about helping him understand what his wife feels and his wife just wanting to talk about it all the time, right? And I think for women, we almost need to learn the skill of this is the decision. Not everybody's going to like it. I'm going to move forward with it. It's going to have consequences, but if I don't make a decision, it's still going to have consequences, but at least I'm in control of the decision that I've made.
Yeah.
And I think for most women, it's a shocker when consequences happen. Well, I didn't choose this. Well, actually, you did by not making a choice.
Well, and I think, women in general, we are not your average woman. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. But I also think, in particular, women, they don't have anything, they being 99% of women, don't have anything to look forward to. So they don't know what's on the other side of that decision, of that hard conversation, of that thing that they know they have to do.
I think the biggest key is once you make a decision, there is a feeling of peace. You are keeping yourself in a state of anxiety and stress by not making a choice.
And some people think that that is what they should be in all the time.
And that's not the truth.
Yeah.
I think using the example of you finding a place to move out to. Once you made the decision, even though it was, I'm going to show her, I'm going to get a place, right? But once you did, the conversations with you changed. You were positive. You were looking forward to it. You were making choices. It was like you had absolute clarity on all kinds of other things just because you made this one choice.
And my wife is happier now, too.
Right.
With me.
Right. All the way around.
Yeah.
And I think if women could just go, if I just make a choice, I will have such a feeling of calm about it. It will provide clarity on all sorts of other levels of my life. I'll be able to make decisions here, and here. We're creating our own chaos.
Yeah.
Decisions clear it up. And yes, there will be a consequence, a repercussion, a whatever. But there's going to be anyway if you don't make a choice.
Yeah. Just comes quicker.
So make a choice. I still remember I had to do consulting for an early childhood education center, like little people under the age of 4, right? And analyze their learning environments and their staff and all of that. And they had these gates on every door. And I would go and I'd stand and look into the classroom and observe. And this one little girl, I think she was like 3, came to the gate and goes, "Make a choice, in or out." And I thought, that is how life should run. Make a choice. Are you in or are you out?
I like her.
And so I have always remembered that. And I thought, I wonder where she is today.
Yeah.
I hope she still has the in or out thought. But,
I love it.
But I mean, that's what decision making should be. So coaching should be a tool that you may get confronted by me or someone else in the room. Are you in or are you out? You may need to hear what someone else is going through, and you're like, oh my God, that's me. And then you're able to make the in and out internal decision. But coaching is a tool that should light a fire to make change happen.
So with my experience with coaching, like I added it up one day. It's over $100,000 in my entire life. Not including golf lessons.
Right.
That's probably another $100,000. Spent all this money. And it was usually at least twice a month where I would sit with a coach and we'd go over whatever it is that I'm supposed to be working on. So with Athene, we have accountability coffees.
Correct.
For 1 hour on Fridays.
Twice a month.
2nd and 4th. Yes.
I think that's
correct.
that's
the schedule. We're going to walk in, get a cup of coffee, which is free, by the way, at Venture X. What are we going to deliver?
So what they need to understand is the coffees will be just as
check-in.
More than a check-in. It's going to be me going, where did you move the needle? I'm going to know from conversations in the room whether what needs to happen is a decision here or a difficult conversation there. I'm probably going to be contacting these women and going, hey, you were quiet in session. Something is going on. Tell me what's going through your head or what were you processing? I'm going to know, right? And I'm going to say, this is to move the needle. So I don't want you to come and tell me again, this is my goal, but I didn't do anything on it. Or this is what I needed to take care of and I didn't take care of it. Or I needed to fire someone, or I needed to have the hard conversation, or I need to, whatever it is. Did it happen? And I don't really care why it didn't happen. You just need to say,
Yes or no.
Yes
Yeah.
or no. And eventually, if you're not doing it, you're going to get tired of telling us no. Mm-hmm. And then the question is, why? Right? And I won't even have to ask. The others in the group are going to go, why?
Yeah. Or what the hell?
What the hell? Right? I'm moving the needle. I'm doing the hard thing. Why aren't you doing the hard thing?
Yeah.
If you say this is what you want, why aren't you doing the hard thing? So I won't always have to be the one to call people out. Over time, those accountability coffees, people will find other people that are having similar issues and they'll problem solve together. They'll collaborate together. They'll hold each other accountable. That's the beauty of having this collaborative group of women that are determined to hit some success markers, and they've defined those for themselves. But now they have a society of women around them that are going to hold you accountable to do it. You will hit more goals.
No crabs in the bucket.
No crabs in the bucket. We're not pulling you down. We should be helping you climb out. And if we don't see that you're even attempting to climb out of the bucket,
You don't get to come back.
don't come back.
Yeah. That's pretty good.